We've done brisket burnt ends. We've done pork belly burnt ends. But have you ever heard of salmon burnt ends? Well, today that's exactly what we're gonna be smoking up. Let's get started. Welcome in to Fatty's Feast, everyone, where we make the best food you'll ever eat without leaving your backyard. My name is Josh. Now, I just want to put this out there before we begin. I feel like burnt end culture is just getting a little bit out of hand. You know, you have your typical brisket burnt ends. Great, everyone loves those. We're doing pork belly, we're doing bacon, we're doing salmon. Now, it's just like, when does the line get drawn? You know, it's like grilled cheeses. You'll have like a chicken grilled cheese with bacon. It's like, isn't that a chicken and bacon sandwich with cheese? I don't know. But this is gonna be a great recipe, a little bit different. You can piss your coworkers off with the smell when you reheat it at work. And I know a lot of people aren't seafood fans. I told my friends I was doing this recipe today and they're like, yeah, I'm not coming over for that. It is what it is. I love salmon. So on this tray here, I have this beautiful cut of salmon. This is from Costco. I think it's about 8 pounds. You don't need that much, but I just want to make this today. And it's already pre-skinned, so we don't have to worry about doing that annoying stuff. Now, looking at this, we can see right here to right here is basically the thickest part. And then over here, it gets a little bit thinner. So you could actually cut this off and this part off and make fillets. Well, we'll just throw everything on the smoker today. I'm just feeling it real quick to make sure the bones are out. So we're gonna cut this as evenly as possible. Like I said, these are gonna be a little bit thinner down here. And these are gonna shrink down in the process. So we're gonna make them a little bit thicker. And you can use these lines as your guiding points. Now just keep in mind, you don't wanna overcook your salmon. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on these as they go through, especially on these thinner pieces. And this is gonna be perfect length. I'm gonna take each one and just make it into little cubes like so. So you can see the difference in thickness with these two. And then I have this bowl right here. I'm just gonna throw them in as I cut them. And this is what we have. Pretty evenly cut across, whatever. Not perfect, but that's okay. Now in a separate bowl, I'm gonna make a quick brine. So I'm gonna take some sugar here. We'll do about 1.5 cups. I'll eyeball that. And we'll do about 1/4 cup of salt. And we'll just incorporate this all together. Now, you'll see all over the place online that you need to brine your salmon for, overnight or whatever. Well, I didn't do that last night. And honestly, you don't need to brine your salmon. It's not a requirement, but it's gonna bring it up to the next level, get some of the moisture out of it, give it a better crust in the end, and prevent it from drying out. Now we'll take our salmon pieces, and I'm just gonna coat them evenly with this brine. Just trying to be careful that none of the pieces fall apart. And this looks like a lot, I know, but we're gonna end up washing this off because it's a brine, so. And there we go, nice and covered. So I'm just gonna stick these in the fridge for about 3 hours or so. I'm gonna turn them every hour to make sure the brine's completely incorporated with the fish. And then we'll come back and season them up and throw them on the smoker. All right, I've let these go for 4 hours in the fridge, gave them a little bit more time. Let's take a look. So as you can see here, everything sort of liquefied down. We have beautiful salmon pieces, everything dissolved nicely. And the salmon's a lot more solid now because it took a lot of the moisture out. So now I'm gonna take a strainer, gonna dump these bad boys right in here. Now with some cold water, we're just gonna rinse these off, get as much of that brine off as we possibly can. Doesn't need to be perfect, they're gonna be a little bit slippery, obviously because it's fish, that's okay. And now, just very quickly, just gonna pat these down a little bit, roll them out, get some of that excess water off there. Back in the bowl. Don't need to be perfect once again. Ooh, this one's falling apart a little bit, that's annoying. But we just wanna get them a little bit drier than they already are. For seasoning today, I'm gonna be using the Everglades fish and chicken seasoning. I did a review on these rubs a few months back. I'll put a link right here so you can check that out if you're interested. But I recall that this one was my least favorite, and I had it on chicken. So I think back in the time I was doing that, I said it would be really good on fish. So I'm gonna try it on this salmon. I'm sure it's gonna be fine, but it was my least favorite, and just smelling it, it smells like it's a fish seasoning. So I'm just gonna liberally put this in here. I shouldn't say liberally because you don't want to over-season salmon. It's one of those delicate fish. I really want the flavor of the salmon and the smoke flavor to come out, so I'm not gonna do this too much. And the other thing to keep in mind is this seasoning does have salt, so I don't want to over salt anything. We'll do one more coating. And then I'm gonna add some coarse ground black pepper just to absorb some of that smoke flavor. Once again, trying to be very careful not to let this salmon break apart. Now I'm looking for something like that, nice and evenly seasoned, not too much. We're gonna start evenly spacing them out on this tray. Now when I did pork belly burnt ends, I used this tray, and they are really helpful for situations like this. Usually I'd use this tray with the pointers actually up, the reverse way, but I can't see myself moving these too much during the cook process. I noticed the rub is sticking right to it. I didn't need a binder or anything. And these are a little close for comfort for me. I'm just looking, I wanna move this one over here because I'll put this side toward the stack and this side with the thick boys toward the firebox. And this is what we got. Let's get them on the smoker. We're gonna throw these bad boys in here just like so. And we can't forget about our temp probes, one in front and one behind. For this smoke today, I'm going to be using a combination of oak and maple wood. And I'll just put one piece of oak and one piece of maple in as we go. I just feel like the maple is a little bit more subtle with its smoke flavor, and I don't want to overpower these salmon bites. And because this cook isn't going to take long, I say that now, it never goes as planned, but because I'm hoping it doesn't take long, we're going to be cooking at about 225 to 250. And all we're looking for is the salmon to reach a temperature of 145 internal before we sauce it and then let it sit and then take it out. I'm assuming this is only going to take about 2 to 2.5 hours for everything, but I've been wrong in the past. So I'll check back in an hour while maintaining a clean fire and even temps across the grate, and we'll see where we're at. All right, everyone, we're just about an hour in and I am so happy with the results so far. Let's take a look. My temps are a little high right now because I just put another piece of wood on to open this thing up. But looking at that, we're pretty much at temp where we want to be. It's actually a little over temp. We're at 130-ish, and some of them 145 and others. And some of these thinner ones were pretty freaking good. So I want to give these about another half hour or so. But this one's done, so I sort of want to try it. Now this is probably the thinnest one I had, so this should be delicious. That's perfect. These are going to be delicious. But we're going to kick them up a notch. On the firebox, we're going to get us, oh, that's hot. A little solidified honey, apparently. Come on, get out. There we go. Now it's sort of going, not really. It's going to do a little bit of barbecue sauce. This here is the Aldi brand. I can't even see it. The Kansas City style. And then I got more Everglades seasoning. This is the Everglades Heat. We're going to throw a nice generous portion of that in there. Then we'll just try to stir this all together. It's going to be a little bit messy at first, especially with that solidified honey, but we should be good in the long run. And now for the next 20 minutes or so, this will just cook down and hopefully get a little bit better and thinner. I know that doesn't look appetizing right now, but it's going to be, don't worry. So like I said, we're going to let these go for about another 20 minutes or so, then we'll return and glaze them. I just want to get them a little bit warmer, and I know they're already food safe. I just want to get them up to that temp where I can glaze them and they're not going to drop in temp a whole bunch. All right, everyone, we're back. I let these sit for about another hour or so just because I wanted to switch the ones that were a little bit lower in temperature. So I put those toward the firebox, and the ones that were already sort of done, I put toward the back, and now everything's pretty much even out in temperature. Let's take a look. So I'm just picking up this one. My hand's on fire right now, but we have a nice crust forming on those. Perfect time to glaze them. The seasoning sticking very well. So I have my beautiful glaze here. It's actually very viscous now. All that solidification has come out. And all I'm going to do, just go through each one and just tap a little brush worth on each. I don't like doing it this way because some of it's going to drip down. So I'm just trying to get a little even coating on each. All right, so I ran out. I have 2 more I haven't done back in the corner here. So I'm going to make a little bit more. Once I make a little bit more of this, I'm probably going to coat some of the ones in the front just a little bit better because I saw that I had a little less than I wanted. I'll let these sit for about another half hour or so, really get these temps lower around 200 or so, just to let that glaze sit in, and then we'll come back and do our taste test. All right, we're about an hour after I glazed these because, you know, I had to drink a beer. It is what it is. Let's take a look. And these are looking delicious. We're taking internal temp. We are way past where we want to be, so that's good. Even in the back here, we're good. To finish these off, I got some sesame seeds. I'm just gonna throw right on top of these bad boys. And then I'm just gonna throw some green onion right on top. Dried green onion, to be precise. And this is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give these a try. So I'm gonna take a thick piece right here. Wow. You still get that salmon flavor. It falls apart right in your mouth, just like a burnt end would. That's pretty fucking good. If I show you on camera here, seasoning stuck very well. And these just fall apart. Look at that. The other thing to add is that hot seasoning I put on there at the end when I did the glaze is very, very good. It doesn't give you a kick in you know, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't give you a kick that you'd think it would. It just works very, very well, but it adds a little bit of a heat on the back end. The Everglades chicken and fish that I used, very, very good. And the salmon's not dried out at all. It tastes awesome, especially with that barbecue sauce and the honey, which I got rid of because it's a little dry, but it works awesomely with this recipe. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Matt. He doesn't like seafood.
I don't like seafood. Why do you make real burnt ends?
Well, I have, but you haven't been here for those. So, anyway,
make 'em right now.
I need a brisket. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw today. If you did, please smash that like button. Get my content out to more people. Leave a comment on some other stupid burnt end recipes I should make because, like I said before, burnt ends are just getting out of control, and everything can be a burnt end, I guess now. I don't know. I'm a brisket fan, but apparently we're making salmon burnt ends. But speaking of burnt ends over here, I'm going to put a link to a video where I make pork belly burnt ends. If you haven't checked that out, you're going to want to see that. And over here, we're going to do my smoker series. You're going to love that. Hours of entertainment, all about smoking delicious meats on the Old Country BRAZOS smoker. Right in the middle, you can subscribe if you feel so inclined and love me so much. And until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay tough.